Hello, good morning. Welcome to Courageous Conversations. I'm here with my wonderful guest, Hanya Kizimchuk, founder of Hanya's Hope. And I want to just do a little sharing because I want everybody to be with us on this journey, because the truth is that we're going to be talking about some very courageous things, including, of course, children and the plight that they have been on, and also the fact that this is such a powerful moment, I think, on our planet, and you're in it. Welcome, Hanya.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so grateful.
You're just so generous of your time. I know you're very, very busy, so I'm so glad that you're here. Tell me a little bit about Hanya's Hope. Firstly, we'll just sort of give everyone a little bit of an introduction as to, I'm just doing a little sharing as you join me. Let us know you're here, because I think this is going to be a really great conversation. Just do us a little hello if you're around. And this is such an opportunity for us to speak to the beautiful, hi Bob, hi Shiva, nice to see you. Hi Daniel, nice to see you. Nice to have you join us on this little journey. Tell me a little bit about Hanya's Hope, how this started. How did this begin in your life? And why did it begin?
So I would say to you that Hanya's Hope came from a process of understanding that I wanted to have a legacy. I have had success in my life.
Yeah.
And I thought I've always wanted to speak to the hearts of children.
Yeah, beautiful.
And so the time came where I had some exposure to Steven Tyler.
Steven Tyler?
Yeah, Steven Tyler. So I was invited to a charity event that he was hosting for Janie's Fund. That is his charity,
right,
where he is helping young ladies of abuse and violence. And he impressed me, and I said, okay,
cool guy,
and I thought, this guy, he's so cool, and yet he's so dedicated. And I said, well, you know what? I'd like to do something as well. So it kind of set me on that journey.
Yeah.
And I reached out to his people, and I said, I have a home in Naples, Florida. I'd like to donate a week's time to auction for you, and whatever you can raise, that goes to your fund. And that started a process.
That's very generous. That's a very generous thing to do right off the bat.
Well, I just thought anybody can write a check, and of course, a check is fantastic.
We don't want to say no to the checks, right?
We don't want to say no to the checks, but I wanted to do something that was a little bit different and a little bit more. I thought that could raise more money than me writing a check.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to do.
More meaningful.
More meaningful.
Right on.
So. The editor-in-chief of Dolce Magazine reached out to me, Michelle Zarrillo Zoza, and she said, I heard about what you were doing. We'd like to do a story.
Okay.
So we sat down at a dinner, Michelle and I, and Hanya's Hope was born.
Oh.
Truly.
Yeah.
Together. Our energies together. And so...
Because it's all about hope for you, isn't it?
It's all about hope.
A lot of children don't have hope.
A lot of children have no voice.
Across this planet, across this entire planet.
Totally.
So this is, and it's shocking that sex trafficking still exists.
Well, sex trafficking is one part of what we
One
look
aspect.
at.
Okay.
That is one aspect. What we do at Hanya's Hope is really we look at child abuse and the problem, and where does it start, and how do we actually combat that problem.
Right.
And so when I decided to get involved and founded Hanya's Hope, it was really about, how am I going to make a difference?
Yeah.
I wanted to be part of the solution, ahead of the curve. And so in my
great.
In my
so
mind,
glad. That's
thank
so beautiful.
you. So in my mind, I thought of the digital hub.
And what is the digital
hub?
What
is the digital hub? Because it was a fantasy in my head. And when I started to investigate and think about that, I said, the problem with sexual exploitation is on the internet. And so, how do we disrupt the abuser? that meant to me creating or getting involved or aligning with like-minded organizations that are disrupting the abuser online.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
we hear all
Which is
the
such a hidden,
it is hidden and
place.
dark.
Yes, exactly.
and
Right
and
on.
they are so fast and so they are ahead of us. They are moving and hiding in places that make it very difficult to track. Massive undertaking.
It's much bigger than you even imagine, right?
It was much bigger. And so
So are you aligned with, I don't know, police organizations, or who is the like-minded organization that you would align yourself with?
well, that is such an interesting question, because when I first started a year and a half ago, I was not sure who was out there, who's doing anything, especially in
Is
Canada.
anyone doing anything? Exactly.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. Our American neighbors are. You have Thorn, which was started by Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore, an incredible organization who, thank goodness for them. I mean, they have funding from all of the biggies, right?
Thank
Microsoft,
goodness.
Google's.
Yeah, right.
And then, of course, you have Deliver Fund, who operates out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. I flew out there, talked to them, had a look at their systems and how they were disrupting. Specifically, they go after the sex trafficker. So they are different from Thorn, because Thorn
Different aspects.
Different aspects. And so I was sort of gathering information for about a year and a half, saying, where are we going to fit in? What exactly is Hanya's Hope mission? What?
Right.
And together with the board, we really talked about the ins and outs of all of these different aspects. And we kind of sat back for the last year and a half until we had complete clarity. It came back to the reality is that we want to help children of abuse. So sex trafficking is part of that.
Yeah.
But the bigger picture is child abuse. So statistically, 90% of sexual abuse, child abuse, happens in the home. It starts at home.
It's
right?
the truth.
And 68% of that, or those, are by family members. And 70% of that are to children under the age of 3.
Yeah.
So if you look at those stats, and then you collect the statistics that talk about sex trafficking, we understand that 60 to 90% of those kids involved or who have been dragged or tricked into trafficking come from sexual abuse. 60 to 90%.
It's like a grooming.
Have started
Yes.
from sexual abuse from the home,
Right.
from the childhood stage. So all of these stats, they really come into place, and you have to look and peel back this onion and say, what are we doing? So for me, as a Canadian, I wanted to get involved with somebody who was doing something in Canada.
Right.
And as much as Thorn in the States and Deliver Fund in the States are doing things, we wanted to do something in Canada.
Yes.
So,
great.
so for me, I really wanted to see who's doing what here.
Yeah.
Finally, last year, Arachnid, Project Arachnid was
Arachnid.
launched.
Okay.
Arachnid being a spider, right?
Yes.
The spider, this digital spider that creepy crawls around the internet looking for images of child pornography. And what happens then through CyberTip and Arachnid, they then go to the websites hosting this information and ask them to take the information down. Imagine for a minute, you're the child, somebody had to take the photograph. That's when the abuse actually goes online.
Yeah. It starts there.
It starts there.
Yeah.
So first of all, as the child, you've lived through that abuse. Second of all, somebody has filmed that or photographed that, and then they have posted that online.
Yeah.
So now imagine you're that child who has to live with what has happened, and you grow up and you go through life terrified that is somehow someone is going to recognize you from that pornography. So the abuse
It goes
actually
on.
continues. It never goes away. So
Wow.
so the idea,
Such a massive
it's a massive
concept.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, the Canadian Centre for Child Protection, which was founded 33 years ago out of Winnipeg, was actually founded by a mother. And 33 years ago, her 13-year-old daughter went missing, and they found her murdered. And this mother started this organization 33 years ago. And today, she has, together with our government and funding from our government, has launched Project Arachnid. So
Wow.
this is, for us at Hanya's Hope, extremely exciting.
It's the digital.
It's the digital hub.
Yes.
It's the digital solution. Part of it, only
Yes.
part of
Wow.
it. And so
So it feels hopeful.
it's extremely
Yeah.
hopeful. It's energizing. It's
Yeah.
hopeful, not only just for us, but primarily for the abused.
Yeah, absolutely.
It gives them hope in this world that somebody's actually recognizing this problem and doing something about it and shutting it down.
This is amazing. I'm so proud of you. Not that you need my proud in you and energy, but I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I feel so pleased to know you, to know that you're doing,
Thank you. I'm
making
humbled.
a difference. But you're making a difference on the planet in real ways, and your generosity is actually making a massive difference. And to me, that is everything. That
Thank
really
you.
is everything. And kids are benefiting from this. Tell myself and the Courageous Conversation viewers, how is this important to you? Like, how did this for you? Is this a personal story for you? Is this a courageous story for you?
It is for sure. I'm the child of immigrant parents, and hardworking.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, but I got you. Hardworking immigrant parents. Yeah.
Hardworking immigrant parents.
Yeah.
My father was strict, smart businessman, successful, but he was in his time an abusive alcoholic. And as a child, we were traumatized. My brother and I, we were traumatized somewhat. My mother.
Growing up in that is very powerful.
In that
It's like
atmosphere.
yeah, oh,
You're
yeah.
fearful. There's violence.
Yes.
You absolutely don't know what's going to hit
Yeah.
that day. And so, as a child, I grew up being seen and not heard. And as it so happens, I'm fortunate in that I'm a strong character. I'm
Yes.
resilient.
Yes.
But
Grit.
not everyone is like that.
No, it's true.
I'm a warrior spirit.
Yes.
So
Yay.
I recognize that a lot of children are not. They are in hopeless atmospheres. And
So you kind of grew up in that hopeless atmosphere, but your grit got you through it.
it was not entirely hopeless because we
Okay.
were on one side, we were educated, we had a clean, safe home,
Right.
relatively safe. When I say
Right.
safe, we were in middle-class neighborhoods. The reality was that as we grew, his alcoholism grew. So by the time it was out of control, I was out of the house.
Okay.
So, but my experience as a child taught me that someday, if I can, I want to make sure that children have options and can be heard. And so when I
Right.
started to think about what was happening on the internet, I felt that something has to happen, something has to give, and that's where we landed on the digital hub.
Courage
That's it.
courage for you means what? When I talk about courage, I say courageous conversations. For you is what, getting out of the house at a young age? What has been your journey or your experience with courage, or needing to get that courage or have that courage?
Courage has to do with making painful decisions that we don't want to make, but we understand have to be made.
Yes.
And in order to make them is an act of courage.
Okay, so I want people to hear that again. Courage means making difficult decisions that we don't want to make, but we have to make them to get ourselves out of a situation
Yes.
or to confront a situation. But that is what courage is.
It is.
Wow. Yes.
And it is to stay authentic.
Stay authentic. Again, very courageous choice.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, that in itself, if we can just stop for a minute and listen to what is happening internally, and staying authentic to that little voice inside, that is courageous. It is not always the most happiest way to go through your life, or more, I should say more popular, because I'm not always
I was going to say,
popular.
yeah.
I'm not always a popular person, but the reality is that I'm staying authentic, and I'm coming from it from the right position, which is kindness, love,
Yes.
respect,
Yes.
honor, loyalty. What are your core values in life?
Love this.
So if you have those, which I have recognized I have always had,
Yes.
it gave me the strength to keep a voice and to be that warrior and to say, no, I don't like what's happening here. You're not going to treat me like this. And this is what I'm going to do about it. So if you
This
can...
is not just what I'm going to say about it. This is what I'm going to do about
Exactly.
it. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying is cheap. Acting, reacting, showing who you are.
Yes.
That is what counts to me.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. This is just so good. So important. Because a lot
Totally.
of talk is cheap.
Talk
A lot
is
of people
cheap.
talk.
People talk all
I
the
would
time.
like people to act.
What are you doing about it?
People are saying I've got goosebumps, and people are really, really sort of responding to what you're saying, Hanya. There's a variety, amazing, inspirational women. Thank you for sharing. I mean, and we'll have more comments after this
Thank you.
broadcast. But it's not about getting the compliments necessarily,
No.
but it's really about having people understand that you can overcome. You can be a courageous actor in your life. You
Totally.
don't have to be at the mercy of other people's, choices or other people lording over you. The loudest voice in your head can be yours.
Of course.
And that is what we're talking about here.
Absolutely. And just to remember to live your life with clarity. And
What do you think okay, so let's just talk about in real terms. What do you do to get clarity? What's important for you to do to get clarity?
Clarity is, we have all very busy lives.
Right.
So what I have really learned of late is having those few moments in the morning of meditation. And
yes.
I like to lie in bed, sit there quietly before I get up and start my busy day. I take 10 minutes to think about who I am, where I'm going today, what can I do today, and how can I make one change that could help somebody. Big, small, it doesn't really matter. It could be just helping somebody out in a grocery store. It could be just smiling at somebody and saying, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Just being aware of your people around you. It gives you a very different perspective.
As opposed to just being
Doing
out
your
of body almost, where you're just living
100%.
unconsciously.
How many times do we now drive in the streets and people are on their phones, going through, you can't even go shopping without putting that phone down. And I'm saying, I understand, we all are busy people,
Yeah.
but how sad that you're actually missing out on the reality of what's going on around you.
Yeah.
And
We used to. I think a lot of people, before the advent of the phones, I think people were much more aware of what's going around them.
100%.
I saved a kid's life the other day because he was crossing the street looking at his phone with the earbuds in, and I'm like, buddy, there's a truck coming at you.
100%.
I saved his life because the truck was coming around the corner, and I'm beeping at the truck to go, don't kill the kid.
100%.
And the kid goes, what? I'm like, and I
Yes.
yelled at him. He says, what? I said, your parents would be devastated if you died right now. So this was around George Brown College.
Good for you,
I said,
yes.
please
Put it
take
down.
those things out when you're crossing, when you're walking around.
Oh, I know, totally.
Become aware. And it's not just the kids, it's the adults too. It's the guys, it's everybody. But become aware of your surroundings, because there's people to help, and there's smiles to be had, and there's eye contact to be made.
Absolutely.
And there's good energies to be put out to people.
Exactly.
Get the hell out of your own head only and start seeing where you can energetically put your positivity And
Yes.
Carol Whitfield, we're going to get the comments here from the lovely, well, let me just get them here. There we go. Good morning, Victoria and Hanya. Blessings to you both. Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone
you.
who's joining us. I really appreciate this. And just share this with your people, because I feel like this is, Hanya's Hope is such an important hub. Digital. It's an organization that really supports a digital hub to make sure that people that are promoting and creating child porn as part of your thing.
As part.
I mean, there's many different aspects,
Yes.
but that's one aspect.
Yes.
Is please follow Hanya's Hope. So you have a tea that just sold out,
Yes.
a fundraiser.
Yes, we do. We're very excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We are thrilled. We
But
are
people can
excited.
still donate.
Yes, of course you can still donate. Go online and still donate.
Where are they going to go online to find that? Because I want to make sure that they do donate, because this is such an important organization.
Well, please go to our website, hanyashope.ca.
Right.
And,
Perfect.
we have a donate section, event section, and learn about what exactly we are doing. And every donation is, none is too small. I'm telling you, everything is needed, and we are
The
grateful.
dollars are going.
The dollars are going for where we think the necessity lies. So to be clear, when Hanya's Hope was founded, I founded it, I financed it, and I have been financing it because it is that important to me.
So wonderful.
And so thank you. So now with our first fundraiser, or actually we had a tiny fundraiser about a year ago, a little spin fundraiser.
Yes.
At the Rosedale Club. My
Yeah.
friends Peter Virgil and Christopher Roche were so kind. They did a little
Nice.
spin fundraiser for us just to get an awareness out about Hanya's Hope. Now this is our second, a little bit larger, obviously. And
Yeah.
the dollars are going towards looking at those organizations who are like-minded and who are really doing something in the field of disrupting either the abuser, the trafficker, the intelligence of the internet. That's what we are looking at doing.
Which seems to be a place that's going to make the widest impact, I
Totally.
feel. I mean, you can go into different little organizations, or you can work with the individual families, but honestly, where the biggest impact is, I think you're right on track, is
100%.
the digital impact.
It's the digital impact. When I first started this, I started to peel back this onion. This problem was this onion.
Right.
And I spent weeks going through information and just flowing through me and saying, how can I make a change? I mean, this thing is so daunting. I started peeling back this onion, and I said, the only way that it really makes sense to me is to get ahead of the curve, to stop it before that child is abused, before that child is trafficked. Get ahead of
Wow.
that problem. We have wonderful organizations worldwide who are helping the victims. They're helping with beds and psychological help. We have,
So that's already happening.
That
It's
is
like,
happening.
That is
fabulous.
That is happening already in a very
It
big
is
way.
happening in a very big way.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, how am I going to help? And I thought it has to be at the beginning of the problem,
Right.
at the intelligence level. I'm so impressed with what is happening with Project Arachnid, because this spider is right now able in a month's time, they can comb through the internet, and they are now collecting up to about 80,000 images.
Wow.
80,000 images
In 1 month.
in 1 month. And as we
That's so
become
impressive.
aware, as I go out and talk, and other people's become
Yeah.
aware of what they are doing, and we can contribute to their cause and donate to them, we understand that they need our money, because we all know how fast the internet grows.
Yeah.
We know that what was happening today, tomorrow is already old news. And so, in as much as Project Arachnid is crawling the World Wide Web, we need to help donate and make sure that they are staying on top, intelligence-wise, ahead of these guys, right? And what happens is that this Project Arachnid, they send out notices to all of those websites hosting the pornography, requiring them to take them down.
Right.
Imagine what that does
Absolutely.
to the adult who has grown up as the victim of that pornography. It gives them peace of mind.
Right.
It says, this is stopping.
Yes.
I can now walk through the streets and hope that nobody's going to recognize me from the pornography, that abuse that happened perhaps 20 years ago. So this provides a hope. And that's what Hanya's Hope wants. We were providing hope.
Oh my gosh, I feel uplifted by talking to you, and I feel so happy that you are a person that, number one, has, you've become very successful, and you've donated and been very, very generous with your money. And I just, and that's what money's for. Yes, buy beautiful things.
Totally.
But listen, this too is important. This is part of the thing that is so important. Carol Whitfield says child abuse is horrific. I just posted something on my timeline this morning before joining you here about the court sending a 4-year-old boy back to his mother who has been abusive to him. This must stop. And I appreciate your outrage, Carol.
Thank you, Carol.
I really, really do. And I appreciate everyone who's coming on here. And Carol Whitfield said child trafficking is so disturbing. Obviously, we must do all in our part changing this from happening, 100%. And you know what I think sometimes, I got to tell you, something that I think about is all of these kids in refugee camps. I mean, I have worked with some adults that came out of the refugee camps, and what we don't know is, the inside accounts of how many kids are not being monitored in the refugee camps
100%.
All over the world, in Africa, in Middle East, in Far East, anywhere there's a refugee camp and there's children, these kids are not being monitored by their parents, because their parents have to be looking at things like survival, food, shelter. They're in the struggle. So their kids are not being really, I'm not saying all kids, but it is prevalent, very prevalent currently. Any refugee camp that's going on and has for whatever, they are being abused. And this is something I believe that is sort of missed. It's missed. And I've worked with some people that have come out of these camps, and it's wow. It's wow. I mean, my father was in a work camp in Europe in World War II, all this stuff.
Right.
I'm talking about present day, right now, today, at this very moment.
Yes,
And
going
it's
on.
going on at this minute. I mean, of course, we can't do everything, but awareness is everything. But awareness alone can do nothing. Awareness alone can do nothing. We've got to activate our dollars to see in this first world, to be able to impact all the children. And digitally, I think I'm just so pleased that you're doing the digital piece.
Yeah, well, that's where I think the impact will happen.
Yes,
it has to happen. If we can disrupt and stop at the beginning, think of how that is going to trickle down.
Absolutely. Well, the trickle down effect will be massive. Absolutely.
Massive.
Yes.
And that is really the key of what we're doing.
And we can't do everything.
We can't do everything. You have to focus on something. Excuse me. And the reality is that I have an incredible board.
Wonderful.
They are a wonderful group of people who dedicate their time. Nobody is paid for this. They are there working beside me, and we are as a group coming together and saying, what are we doing? How are we doing it? And what is our message?
Nice.
And the conversations are amazing together with my group. And I feel blessed and honored that they are standing beside me and saying, okay, we believe in what you're talking about and what you're doing, and we want to help you. And so without my board, we would not be doing this, because I can't do this alone.
Of course you can't.
I'm sitting here with you.
Yes.
You're dedicating your time.
Yes.
This all helps. So
awareness, building awareness.
As a community,
yes,
if we can come together and talk about this, this is a huge topic of discussion. The fact that we were able to sell out in 3 weeks of going live tells me people are investing not only their hard-earned dollars. Tickets are not inexpensive. And thank you for your donation.
Pleasure.
We are humbled. Thank you.
Thank you.
It all helps, because if you're reaching into your pocket to buy a ticket for $125 and you're coming to hear what we are doing, that tells me that, okay, we're on the right track, and this is a growth process. We're only a year and a half old. It's organic, and it gives me and our board the incentive to continue the work.
Oh, wonderful.
And
wonderful.
on to the next.
Yes. And to keep building on this platform.
To keep building on this platform. Totally.
So, Hanya, let's tell them your website again, the most important thing, so that they can donate.
HanyasHope.ca.
HanyasHope.ca. No apostrophe or yes apostrophe?
No.
No apostrophe. Yes.
No apostrophe.
Yes. www.hanyashope.ca. Hanya, what a joy to have you here. Maybe
Thank
you'll come
you.
back again.
Love
I
to.
really, really, I know you're going to go away for a while, but maybe on the other side of your journeys, you can come and be part of this
Totally.
again.
Thank
But I
you.
just want to tell you, listen, you are one hell of a courageous woman. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
I really do.
Appreciate that.
And no bullshit. That's all I'm saying. No bullshit. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
there's
saying?
no bullshit on this side of the table.
Exactly. Exactly. And anyone who's tuned in, I'm going to be proliferating this video widely. Please, you as well. I'm going to be doing it on all my pages and all my groups and all my platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. It's going to be everywhere. I want you to as well, if you feel this moves you, if this is important to you, if child abuse and stopping it at the root is important to you, please, please, just put it out there. Share it with your people, okay?
Thank you so much.
I just want to say, have a courageous conversation with yourself and with another person and with others. Stay courageous in your life. Stay courageous, because that's what's going to get you the world you want, okay? And so I just want to say blessings. Come join my my group, Courageous Conversations, and also like my page if you get a chance and that moves you to do so. Mwah! Have a brilliant day. Thank you, Hanya.
Light and love to you all.
Light and love to you.
Thank
Mwah.
you.
You're a joy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.